Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Or should I be saying, or should you guys be the one that are saying welcome back? I don't know. Either way, I'm back. And I'm back with a different niche now. So basically, I'm revamping my YouTube page because I'll be no longer talking about antenatal care and pregnancy education anymore. Reason for this is because I honestly do not have the time. The reason is that I need to basically research first and then come sit down, do the video, and then edit. So I honestly could not keep up. Therefore, I thought, you know what, let me come back to YouTube. I think now it's been almost 2 years that I wasn't on YouTube. So I thought, I actually want, well, I love sitting down and doing these videos, and even the editing process is actually fun for me to just recap and see how I'm actually doing and how I'm progressing. But now I'll be talking about finance, elder, motherhood, and like basically everything that I'm currently going through and what I've gone through up until today. Ne? So, as the video stated, I'll be talking about how I got into debt review. I think this was about 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, I was fresh out of school, went into waitressing, and then I got into a nursing college. The nursing college at the time, we were being paid stipend. Now, the stipend was actually quite good at the time. I think we were being paid what, 8,000 rand if I'm not mistaken. There was two options to choose from. I think we there was a 37% option. Now this is getting the basic plus an extra 37% on top. And then or taking the option of getting your basic and then them taking provident fund and also taking medical aid. Now they would match whatever I was paying, they would match that now for the Provident Fund. Now, being naive and being still young, I thought, no, let me take 37% because I want the money now. I want the money now, and I wasn't used to being on medical aid anyway. So I was like, I can still survive without a medical aid. So I took the 37% option that also boosted it up even more. If I'm not mistaken, it was nine point something. A 19-year old that now gets what, 9,000 some odd. That was like good. I'm happy with that. So I was going along, and I was actually thriving. Everything was good. Then I thought, okay, you know what? I think I need a car. And then I did my license, and then I got the car. Now the car, I didn't take car finance. I took a loan. Took the loan, and then I thought, no man, I want to renovate my parents' house. I took another loan. Ne? Then now I thought, okay, you know what? These payments are what, 1,000 something on the first one and 1,000 rand and something on the second one. Maybe let's say a total of 3K. Which I felt okay. I still have 6K left, so I'm still good. Ne? And then I also had at the time I had one child, and then so it was her, it was her school fees, it was transport, food, rent, and now these two loans, which was still fine. I was coping well. And then I was approached by another bank for a credit card. Yeah, I thought, okay, I could do with the money, and I wouldn't use it often. I would use it when I have a problem, right? So I took that credit card. Now I had two loans and a credit card. That was still good. I was still coping well. Then I was approached by another bank for another credit card. Now I had maxed out that other credit card, so I felt, money. To me, I think at the time it felt like free money, even though it wasn't free money, because I was still naive and I didn't quite understand the interest rates and stuff. I just saw that I could afford the monthly payments, so I'll be good. So I took now another credit card. So now that's four accounts basically, no? And then now the golf that I took in that first loan started giving me problems. Ne? Started heating up. It had this problem, then it was this problem. So I was tired of it, and I felt that now I was actually a good driver. So maybe I could get myself like a newish car. Now, I'm not sure if some of you remember, there used to be these cars that had stickers on them that said 799, 699, 899 monthly payments on these cars. And I thought, I could actually afford that. So I was in a taxi this other time. My car was then having problems again. So I saw, okay, I took down the number and I SMS'd them, and then they call you back if I remember correctly. So they called me back, and they took me through everything, and it made sense to me. So I said, okay, I signed up and I took that car. Ne? I think it said that someone had to either SMS my code and them actually get the car, and then I would I would then what um they would then pay that. Well, then I would then only have to pay that 70.99 if someone SMS'd my number. And I thought, okay, that's probably that's doable, because that's how I also got this car. So I took it. Né? No, first month it I think it actually did only deduct 7.99, if I remember correctly. Not quite sure, because as I said, this was what 10, 11 years ago. So then I think second or third month it was 3K. Ne? Now there's these four accounts that I already have. There's now 3K plus car insurance. Now I was here because now all of these things are being deducted off my account. There's rent, there's food, there's my daughter. I started drowning. Yeah, started drowning, and then I think it was my sister that said no, she has this friend of hers that's under this debt review thing that now basically reduces her installments, and she basically now is paying less and is able to have some money left and be able to do her normal things. So I thought, okay, I think now it's about, I think second or third year in college, if I remember correctly. So I thought, okay, you know what, this is actually an option for me. So I took it. Yeah, I took it, and I signed up with the state counselor. They explained everything to me, made sense. I was just happy that now I was going to get some money back that's going to be left in my account, so that I can stop feeling like I'm drowning. Obviously, because I did not have now financial education, I wasn't like clued up with all of these things. To me, it just made sense at the time. This was just a breathe, like a time for me to breathe, right? So I got into it, and then I was paying that monthly. I think I was paying like 3,000 and something, which left me with a surplus of what, 5,000 rand. So I was happy with it, but I wasn't checking any of the statements and checking like how much is left on these accounts and whatnot. I wasn't doing any of that. I was happy. I was driving my car. The accounts were being paid, and I was able to afford everything. Okay, then fast forward now to me starting work, right? Oh no, before I go into that. Now, what was not explained to me with this debt by the debt counselor was that in the month of January, I should then pay double, for example. Ne? Because what they used to do was that in January they had this administration fee. So when they made a deduction of that 3,000 or something, I assumed that it was going towards towards the creditors. Ne? But in January, now they were taking this amount to the administration fees. So so basically now my creditors were not being paid for January, and I think only like a half of that amount was for Feb. Ne? So now basically now for 2 months my creditors aren't being paid. Now I didn't know this, I didn't understand all of this. So well, I'll say I wasn't looking at it, and I didn't care. I think to be honest, I think that's, or I was naive. I thought, okay, this is what was explained to me. Therefore, this is what happens. Ne? It was only now after years when I was actually sitting down with the statements and I was like, you know what, I'm tired of this whole thing. That's when I actually realized, okay, this is actually what was happening. Ne? So now the bank then said, the bank that I owed for the car then said, now you owe us this amount, and we have not been getting payments for the past 2 months. Therefore, they went to court and they removed their agreement of the debt review, and then they repossessed the car. They repossessed the car and they auctioned off the car. And then I had a shortfall that I was now owing. So let's say, for example, I was owing 100,000 rand. Then they sold the car for 50,000. I mean 70,000 rand. Now I still had that shortfall of that 30,000 rand that I was owing, right? So, but now since they had taken themselves out of the debt review, the debt counselor stopped making payment to them. Ne? So now they were only making payment to my creditors, ne? To the ones that were still under this debt review. Ne? Now it was only when I sat down and I looked at my statements that in actual fact, my accounts are basically still in the same place that I was in when I started. So this is going to take me years. And now I've started working, and I feel like I'm going to want a car, because now that car was now repossessed. I'm going to want a car. I'm going to want a house. I can't be doing this anymore. And at the same time, I also felt that um, they were taking too long. And you know, I had that feeling. So, and now at least now I had an extra income from now working, because now obviously I was no longer a student, so I was getting a bit more in 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 wages, right? So I was there. Now the counselor was still deducting, and then I was paying extra to my creditors. I did the snowball effect, and I was paying them off. I started with the small one and I went to the bigger one, like that, and up until I finished all of them. Ne? And then I went to ShopRite and I did my Kudu report. The Kudu report, that's where I could see that these are the creditors that are showing up on my name, and this is what I owe on them. When I saw the Kudu report, the bank that I owed the car was no longer showing under credit bureau. The reason for this was because it was being over 5 years where I wasn't making any payment even with the shortfall. So they had to basically write off that account, right? So I went to my counsel and I said, these are my paid up letters with these accounts. So please take me off debt review. Ne? And then they said, no, but you still owe this car. But I said, but it's no longer showing on my Kuri report, or on my credit bureau report. Ne? It's no longer showing. So why should I be making more payments? And because now I was on YouTube and I was watching Sabun Nicolette and them. So I could see that if I now started making payments on this car, then it would show up again and I would be owing them. So then it was that back and forth. They said, no, but you still owe them. And so now they said, we cannot take you off debt review. Now I was so frustrated. I mean, I've done so much work. I've been sacrificing my bonuses and paying off all of this debt, but it's still, and I mean, I'm still showing being under debt review. So and then I contacted an attorney, and I got one. I think it was Limbada Attorneys, if I remember correctly. They were based in Coston here in PE. So they said it's 6K for them to get me off debt review and get my name cleared. So I said, okay, now this is actually perfect, and this is actually what I want. Then they said I have to make a first payment of 2K, and then they deduct 500 monthly up until the amount is actually finished, and they will be able to get me under debt review. I took they said I must get a Kudu report, and I must bring up all my paid up letters, and then they would go to court on my behalf and get this debt review thing off my name. So that is what I did, and then I was able to get out of debt review in that way. So they went to court on my behalf. They came back and then they said, okay, we'll produce this at the court, and now we've gotten this letter. So I had to take this letter and go submit it now at the credit bureaus, the all of the credit bureaus. They were going to email them and then send that through. It should take about 30 days for this debt review thing to be taken off my name. So yeah, so that's how I was able to get out of debt review. Yeah. So stick around for my next video where I'll be talking about, well, in detail as to how I was then able to rebuild myself financially and get to where I currently am at the moment. Ne? I'll see you on the next video.